Jan Ozer here from Mile High. I'm here today with Igor Oreper from Bitmovin. Thanks for joining me, Igor.
Happy to be here.
So what brings you to Mile High this year?
We're here every single year. It's a show we look forward to. It's a great opportunity to meet with a lot of our video tech community in Denver, but also outside of Denver.
Okay. Are you presenting this year?
We are presenting. We're not exhibiting, but we are. We do have a talk scheduled tomorrow, Thursday. Lito from our web player engineering team is talking about how we've built our next generation web player with structured concurrency programming.
Okay. And you are sponsoring alcohol for the.
We are having a networking reception tomorrow evening at the local Jones nearby. So yeah, really looking forward to that. We've got quite a few people registered.
Okay. Tell me about the new player. What is structured concurrency?
Structured concurrency is a programming framework that allows you to effectively close bad threads and manage the lots of concurrent things that happen during web playback without impacting other threads. And so what Lito is going to talk about tomorrow is, why are we doing it? We built our web player over 10 years ago, and this is a little bit of a refresh. And also, two, it's, we have to support so many different functions on so many different devices that there's a real need for looking at a fresh way of doing web playback. And so that's why we did it. It started as a hackathon project that developed into a product. We have some customers using it now already. It's pretty limited in features so far, but it is production ready, and we've got folks implementing it. What's really unique about it, besides the fact that it's just more stable and performs better, two things we're really focused on, but also because it allows our customers to build add-ons to the player that they themselves can own and manage. And so effectively gives us an opportunity to create a marketplace of features that our different customers can collaborate on and use in tandem. So it opens up the developer community to our customers and outside of just our own engineering team.
Okay, that sounds fabulous. So looking at Bitmovin, if I remember from your website, you've got analytics, you've got the player, you've got encoding, and you've got live encoding, and you've also doing stuff with ad insertion. I spoke with some people there and did a video on the server-guided ad insertion, which was interesting. I've heard a lot about your live service. Tell us about that. It seems to be doing really well.
Yeah, we're investing a lot into our live encoder. So for folks who don't know, we really started with a VOD transcoder many years ago. And we've really been focused on building up that that VOD transcoder. It's really intended for distribution transcode use cases. We feel like we've got just about all the features covered, right? Nothing is ever done, and we still build new stuff. But really, our focus with our VOD transcoder has been to squeeze cost out of the equation. And that means fewer bits to reduce downstream costs of egress, CDN, storage, but also it means better compute efficiency, so using less compute to get the same work done. That's what we hear in the market from our customers and our partners. That's what we've been focused on with our VOD transcoder. At the same time, we've really been investing into our live encoder, also for distribution use cases. And it comes from the same foundation as our VOD transcoder. But of course, live is unique and different, and there are quite a few additional needs there on live. And so we've been really focused over the last 2 years developing our live encoder to support ad insertion use cases, to support different ingest methods, high availability and resiliency, scale. We now have, I would say, 2 tier 1 customers. One of them is running 7,000 live events daily with concurrency peaking at 1,000 live events each and every single day. So really excited about them. They were someone who migrated from Azure Media Services when that product reached its end of life last June. And then we have another customer who's using us for live linear channels in the Middle East. And so they run 60 live linear channels. They're fast channels. They're ad supported. And those are the two marquee customers. We have quite a few others doing a mix of live events and channels. And they really see this business growing, and we continue investing into that live product.
Is that software-based or hardware-based?
It's a software-based encoder, same as our VOD encoder, transcoder. It can certainly run on GPU where GPU is available, but most of the time we're using a really cost-efficient CPU.
Okay. I mean, the whole argument for the VPU and the ASICs has been, seemingly those markets. Is that not something you're seeing as accurate, or you're not seeing ASIC-based technologies as useful to you?
We are, and we're actually testing ASIC VPUs in Akamai Connected Cloud now.
Okay.
So Akamai it's a multi-cloud or a cloud-agnostic solution. We support 5 cloud providers, of course, AWS, GCP, Azure, but also Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, and now Akamai Cloud Connect. Akamai Cloud Connect for live in particular is really interesting for us for a few reasons. One, super highly distributed network, right, with small compute centers that are very distributed and close to access networks, close to users. And two, we get to experiment with things like VPUs. So we've just started that effort now in Akamai Connected Cloud. We even have a few PCI cards ourselves in our office. So we are investing there quite a bit and experimenting. And really the big value there, as we see it, is density, right? Just being able to process more content, more channels with less compute.
When do you get big enough that you don't look to a cloud provider? When do you say, okay, we've got to build our own?
That's a great question. We believe in cloud. We're born in the cloud. We've always done things in the cloud, and we believe that everything can be done in cloud. Now we do have customers and prospects we're talking to now who run their own private cloud infrastructure. And when you're as big as maybe a Netflix, that makes a lot of sense, or maybe a YouTube TV. But I would say there are half a dozen to a dozen of those companies in the world today. Everyone else can and should probably use cloud and SaaS and cloud.
Okay. What else is going on in Bitmovin that's noteworthy?
We have for a long time thought about AI use cases and how do you kind of get beyond the hype of AI and really apply it to real world use cases where it can be it could have a substantial impact and make a big difference. So because of that, we've been a bit lagging behind maybe some of the hype that you see in the market around AI. But I think we finally found a few use cases where it's really applicable. One, of course, for live encoding is automatic captioning, right? So transcription and translation, especially when you're doing 7,000 live events daily, right? You have to take advantage of automation there. So live captioning we found is a really useful example. We've invested in our live product there, and it does now support live captioning. Another use case where we're working with a joint customer, to do joint development or co-development is AI contextual advertising. And this is really the coupling of our live and VOD encoders with our player. And also with third-party ad services. And so the idea with AI contextual advertising is that the encoder can run an analysis process to understand what is in the frames of video, extract that into metadata within a defined taxonomy, message that metadata to the player, and now the player you can implement as a developer, right? You can implement logic within the player to decide what kind of ads you would like to surface to the user. And so you can message and signal that as hints to the ad service to get a specific type of ad, or also to exclude specific types of ads, right? So there may be ads you don't want to see, you don't want to present to a viewer based on the content that they're watching. So really interesting use case there, a lot of interest in the market for us from our existing customers and also new prospects. So more on that to come for NAB. We're going to be doing a big showcase there on AI contextual advertising and some other AI use cases. But I think for us, that's one that's really important and most interesting right now.
How recent is your push into the whole advertising side? Because this is, I mean, I heard about it with the server-guided ad insertion that I mentioned at the start, but it seems pretty new for you guys.
You know, we're a tool set, so we've always supported features that enable these use cases, and we've supported a lot of features for ad insertion. Right, it was client-side ad insertion, it was server-side ad insertion, now it's server-guided ad insertion, integration with different ad services, with manifest manipulation services. Right, we've always done that because in order for our tools to be effective, they have to be interoperable with a lot of other technologies. And so from my perspective, as a tool set, we've always tried to go to where the market is heading or already is to support those use cases. For AI contextual advertising, I think we're a little bit ahead of the game here. There are others who are experimenting here as well. I just saw an announcement from Disney a couple days ago that they're doing some very similar things around contextual advertising. So I would say, you know, this is like the next evolution, right? We need to make sure our tool set is interoperable with these third-party ad technologies, and also that we're innovating and we're continuing to offer, you know, features that are in demand.
Yeah, I mean, there's no benefit to connected TV if you're sending the same ad to every viewer, irrespective of content. So publishers can charge more, they get better returns, the advertisers get better returns. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And if you know about the user, right, which in some cases where the user is registered, you do have some information. Maybe you know about viewing history, maybe you know about their preferences for different kinds of content. Then you can further personalize to that user, right? You have contextual information about what they're consuming, you have information about them, and then you also have inventory of ads that you can choose from. So it's a really interesting use case, especially for programmatic ad inventory as well.
Yeah, no doubt. So what brings you to Mile High? What's different about Mile High?
Yeah, for Mile High, I mean, I look at Mile High as one of two big developer conferences, right? One is DMUX, of course, right? In September in San Francisco, it's a video developer conference, and Mile High is the other video developer conference. I think what's unique about Mile High is it's in Denver. So it does bring out, there's a great, I would say, community of video tech in and around Denver. So it brings those people together outside of our regular meetups, which we often try to do every 3 months or so, but also brings people from outside of Denver into this area. And you know, for me, it's a great opportunity to connect with people I don't always see. And you know, I'm traveling quite a bit, but it's really a you know, big enough conference that a lot of people attend. Great opportunity for me to connect with many at once, but small enough that it's not NAB or IBC, right? And everyone is running around frantic. So that's why I really enjoy Mile High Video. It is really a developer-focused, you know, R&D academic conference focused on video technology. And for me, there's really not a lot of opportunities to do that outside of Mile High Video, DMUX, and maybe a couple of events in Europe.
Okay, listen, thanks for taking the time to chat.
Happy to do it. Thanks, Jan.